Hey, hi all. Welcome back to VR Knowledge Center. In this today's session, I'm going to explain the agentic AI. Agentic AI is the next wave in artificial intelligence. So before I get into the agentic AI architecture and the key characteristics of agentic AI, I would like to ask you a small question in this. How many of you, how many of you have interacted with AI today without realizing it? Any answers from you all guys? Let me put this question in this way. Like, how many of you responding your SMSs or emails without using, right, predictive text? That means if you look at any SMS or response in the Teams or WhatsApp, when someone asks you like hi good morning, it immediately give you some predictive text saying that very good morning, doing good, I'm fine. These are the texts it is giving it when you type responding it, right? Look, especially in the messages. In the similar way, like when you want to respond any email, right, when you're typing it response, right? So what it is doing is it is automatically giving you some auto corrected and predictive response based on the right email content, right? So in the similar way, like when you look at smartphones, especially face unlock or fingerprint, right? So these are basically driven by AI computer vision, right? And a similar way, autocorrect and predictive texts in WhatsApp and SMS using AI language models. So some of the voice assistants like you are regularly using Siri, Google Assistants, and Alexa. So these are basically behind the scenes. AI system is using it. You are not aware of like what is happening at the front end and in the upfront, right? You are just getting the responses very easily with the predictive texts, and you're just choosing that and you are giving a response. But behind the scenes, AI system is working on it. Did you know that? Yeah. So when I want to give some crisp definition for artificial intelligence, I'll tell you that artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine to perform tasks that typically requires human intelligence, like reasoning, learning, and decision making. Okay. So coming to this agentic AI, so as I mentioned, this is the current wave of artificial intelligence. But I would like to explain what are the different waves so far we have seen as part of artificial intelligence. Okay, so let me go back to the next PP slide here. So as I mentioned, like we have three waves here. That is how AI is evaluated. Since from the first one is predictive AI, and then generative AI, and then agentic AI. Okay, because AI is the matters today. AI is everywhere, not just in the labs, right? So AI is no longer limited to researchers or big tech companies. Nowadays, everyone is using it and dominating this AI in all environments like in healthcare, finance, education, cybersecurity, manufacturing, and logistics. So all industries are using this AI, right? This is a big impact on these major industries, right? So from the tool to collaborator, like earlier we used to use a calculator, which is something a tool, right? To just give any calculations based on the inputs you are giving it. But nowadays this AI becomes as a collaborator, right? And it helps you to build any kind of uh, you know flow or any kind of task automatically using the AI stuff. Okay. A calculator or such engine that gives you answers. Today, AI is becoming a collaborator. It helps engineers write some code, GitHub Copilot or Microsoft Copilot. So these are just giving a code when you just put some required question on prompt. And also doctors consulting this AI, right, to diagnose cancer detections and scanning of the X-ray reports, right? Doctors consult AI systems as a second opinion sometimes, and writers and designers or students cooperatively, right? creating the content using AI, like ChatGPT and DALL-E. This shift means AI is no longer just something what we use; it's something we can work with as a partner. Okay, so let's get into this waves, right? When you look at this evaluation of AI, right? The first one is predictive AI. That's what I mentioned, right? Second one is generative AI. Third one is agentic AI. If you look at this first wave, predictive AI, right? So let's understand the first wave of this artificial intelligence here, which was predictive analysis and forecasting. That means it is analyzing the existing response or existing data, and then it will forecast the pre-future events. So this what exactly happened in its predictive AI basically is it focusing more on analyzing the historical data and identifying patterns and make forecasts about future events, right? If you look at this historical data, and thereafter we'll do feature engineering, that means pre-processing using ML models. I'll tell you an example with regards to this first wave, especially this Netflix movie watching, right? That means like when you watch any movie in Netflix, right? And any genre, right? It could be any movie genre. So it will capture watch time and the user rating. So now after this, what we are basically doing the feature engineering here, pre-processing, right? Now in the feature engineering process, we were extracting features like user watch time, trends, preferred genre, and watch frequency. And when we could also encoding techniques, so basically make data more usable for the ML model. So we were using ML models like RM and LSTM algorithms to make which one is predictive in future for the movie preference based on historical data. So and in the output, like Netflix AI recommends new movies or shows based on the similar user patterns. So this is how Netflix model was working and incorporating machine learning models, right? So you consider Netflix users watch history, like it could be any movie genre, right? So based on the movie users are watching and the frequency and the kind of time they're spending on it. So all this historical data, it will take it and it will process re-engineering, right? And it will do some feature engineering by just applying some algorithms in the machine learning model, RM and LSTM. These are some ranking algorithms which will analyze the data and it will provide the ranking. So based on this algorithms, it will predict the future of movie preferences for that particular user. Okay, this was basically relies on the structured data, right? Like numbers, categories, historical records, and models are trained or pre-collected databases, and they make predictions based on the learned patterns, right? And another example is like spam detections, mail spam detections, email metadata like sender, subject keywords, or recipients, right? And the frequency. These are the metadata. So it's turned into numerical features. Then a classification model predicts spam or not spam. So based on the frequency, right, it will predict that mail is something like comes from different sources, different authors, and that way it is going to detect the spam. Okay, predictive maintenance. Basically, like it will read the historical data and it will apply some machine learning models and find out the future events. So that's what the first wave. And coming to the second wave, right? Looking at this second wave, especially this generative AI. So what exactly happening here is it is generating a new content. So it will take input as data, and then it will tokenize the given input, just like votes or kind of statement. It will take it and it will divide into votes and it will assign some number sequence and then it put it into vector database, and then it will process that using neural networks, right? Neural network is again a computing system which is basically applies some patterns on the data and then it will process the input. Okay, so talking at this the second level, let's understand how exactly this technology was working. Basically, first there was data input, so any prompt from the user. So suppose in the GPT, okay, so I'll open GPT and all over I'll say that write an article on AI. So after that, it will do some organization, it's split into some smaller parts, and then it will give the response. So this was user deep learning models. Okay, this was using deep learning models like GPT, DALI, and Midjourney models that can generate new content based on the patterns learned from vast databases. So that's basically generative AI, using it for generating new content as well as text, images, videos, or even code. And these models learn from patterns and generate output as like humans. Okay. And coming to the next wave, third wave is agentic AI. Now, when we talk about third wave, so it's basically agentic AI or autonomous AI agent. The agentic AI goes beyond the text generation. So it's integrates decision making actions and executions and autonomous learning, etc. So the AI system don't just respond to the prompt, but they also independently plan and execute and optimize the process. So here, user input or receive the goals, and it will provide high level instructions like optimize warehouse shipments for maximum efficiency, right? And unlike GenAI, which would generate text, and agentic AI executes real world actions. After this would have been querying the database, and it will fetch the data. Then AI would pull the real time traditional databases data like SQL or NoSQL, where we fetch the inventory level of shipment history. Then it could be vector DB, where it receives some unstructured data like past customer data, compliance, and all those things. Then, with the help of external APIs, it is connecting to like forecasting services or fuel price APIs or supplier ERP systems. And these things are present with this step. Okay. Then the third step was the LLM decision making. Suppose if inventory is low, right, then it could automate, right, supplier restocking order. Like if shipment cost is increasing, then reroute the shipments to cheaper vendors, and suppose whether condition impacts, then route, then adjusting the delivery schedules. Now next step would be an action execution by API. So API executing task without human intervention. It is triggering API call to record stock from suppliers and update warehouse robot workflows to prioritize fast moving products, or even send email notifications to logistic partners about what change is happening here. This is continuously learning process. This agentic AI, because it moves beyond content generation. So other example like travel booking agent. You say book me the cheapest flight from Delhi to Paris next week for uh, next week, and a four-star hotel near the right Eiffel Tower. AI searches flight APIs, right? Through flight APIs, compares hotel databases, makes booking, and confirms with you and send tickets, right? So business workflow automations, you say like generate sales reports for Q2, email them to the regional heads, and schedule a review meeting, etc., etc. So this agentic AI basically looks for the perception, and it will pursue the existing data, and it will apply the reasoning, that means decision making, and then it will fetch the required data using external APIs, and then it will provide the output. And after that, it will start learning from the output and make it latest for the next questions or next prompt giving by user. Looking at this predictive AI examples, so basically it looks for the historical data to predict future outcomes, like fraud detection, stock price predictions, and regression models, classification algorithms. And generative AI, if you look at here, ChatGPT. So GPT, DALI, Codex. So this DALI model, basically using it for like vision, speech, language decision, OpenAI services, in cognitive search, form recognition, immersive reader, bot service, video analyzer, right? So these are all things basically using it for generating text and images and videos. Coming to the example for generative AI, right? As it creates content from learned patterns, so ChatGPT Tally has examples, and they use tools like GANs and transformers. And coming to the agentic AI architecture, so this diagram explains here inputs to the agentic AI is memory, right? And tools here and goals, observations, thereafter agent and actions and environment. So memory, when it comes to memory, stores past experiences, learned knowledge, and historical interactions. Example: self-driving car, remembering the layout of frequently traveled roads. Correct. Coming to the tools, the external APIs, libraries, or system that agent can use to achieve tasks. Example: a coding AI using an online compiler or GitHub API. Okay. And goals. Coming to the goals, the objectives or tasks given to the agent could be human defined or self generated through reasoning. Example: book me the cheapest flight to Delhi, right? So that is the goal I'm going to give it. It might be a predefined or self generated through reasoning. So coming to the agent, right? The core brain processes memory tool and goals to decide what action to take, right? Uses reasoning engineer, planning algorithms, and sometimes LLMs. Think of it as a decision making hub. And after doing all this AI agent job here, by pulling all this data, applying the planning algorithms, and it comes to actions. So the agent executes actions in the environment. Example: a travel agent bought booking tickets online automatically. And coming to the environment here, so the space where actions are applied, right? The space where the actions are applied can be a digital environment, web apps or mobile apps or APIs, or physical environments like robots or IoT devices. For example, ChatGPT with browsing ability, the environment is the internet. Okay. So, and finally, coming to the observations, the agent observes the results of its actions. This can be success or failure messages. And example of trying to book tickets, the agent check if it has got confirmation mail or not, right? That's how he is just looking into the the response, and thereafter it will feedback loop, and the agentic feeds the observations back into the memory, and then adjusting its strategy. That's how it is, learning from the feedback and observations and make it always latest. Okay. So, and going back here, the agentic AI's goals like can set goals, plan actions, and execute tasks autonomously. Examples: AI personal assistants, autonomous trading bots. It combines perceptions, reasoning, and actions. So these are some comparisons between three waves like forecasting method. The main function here is the forecasting and predictive, where it's generative AI just creates new content, agentic AI making decisions and takes actions. And learning approach is just historical data analyzing it in predictive, and generative AI learn patterns for text and image generation. And agentic is basically self-learning. And user environment involvement here, human asks for forecast here, but human gives prompts here, but minimal human intervention in this AI. Technology used here: time series analysis, machine learning, transformer architecture like GPT Llama, and here LLM plus APIs and autonomous execution roles. Example use cases: Netflix recommendations, ChatGPT writing articles, here AI managing supply chains, right? And coming to here, their whole process, and this is basically execution flow. It actually uh, process the user given input and prompts to respond back via AI agent. If we look at here, the things are happening in between these four categories: pursue, reason, act, and learn. Pursue is sense the environment basically. That means agentic AI starts by collecting information from its environment. It could be data streams or user inputs. or some external content like news, weather, system states. So, example is cybersecurity. I pursues unusual login items from different countries. So that is perceiving. And then coming to reasoning, it's something like making decisions. After perceptions, the system analyzing the data and decides what to do next items like rules and machine learning models, contextual reasoning. For example, like in reasons that login items may indicates a brute force attack, right? So brute force attack is a trial and error method where the hacker is going to continuously hit the system by just giving a dictionary with credentials, right? Hacker to gain unauthorized access to accounts, right? It involves systematical trying all possible combinations of password, encryption keys, or other login credentials until the correct one is found. Essentially, it is like trying every key on a right, keyring until unlocks the lock. Okay, and coming to the act, this take actions automatically. That means take action autonomously. Unlike traditional AI that it just gives recommendations, agentic AI can act on decisions like sending alerts, blocking suspicious activities. System blocks the suspicious IPs automatically and notifies the secure system. Coming to the layer, which is something like improve continuously. Agentic AI learns from outcomes from the feedback, like reinforcement learning and fine tuning from the user feedback, updating models with new data. So, example, it learns which type of alerts were false positive and adjust detection rules for next time. Okay. So traditional AI gives you an answer when you ask. Agentic AI, on the other hand, can see and make sense and sense the world around it and think about what's happening, take an action on its own, and keep learning from the experience, just like human. So if you look at here, user is coming here, and agentic AI is going to have this many like database, vector databases, and here training models, and here action. So it will fetch the data from here, like perceiving of data, basically doing it, but just getting gathering of data from databases by just applying queries, and then it will, give it for a train model to make some decisions, and then it will execute the actions, right? And thereafter, it will learn from the output. That is data flywheel, right? And then it will customize the model based on the output for the future. Next time same input comes into the system, it will tune that and give the expected output. So that's where this agentic AI works, like perfect every time. So it will automatically customize the model based on the feedback and the response, um, uh, generated from this agentic AI, and it makes perfect in the next time, and it is ready for the next time questions, next time prompts, which user is going to give it. Okay. So this is all about the pursue, reason, act, and learn. So pursue will gather the data from different sources, like data streams or input prompts or logs, external like contents like news, weather, service, and system states. So as I mentioned, like cyber security, right? AI pursues the login attempts coming from different countries. That is perceiving and reasoning. When it comes to reasoning, like it reasons that the right login attempts are not coming from right sources, and it will identify that indicate a brute force attack coming from outside countries, and it will start blocking IPs and notify the users or secure system or security teams. And act is something like acting, like taking an actions autonomously. The system blocks the IPCs automatically and notify the security team. And learn is something like learning from the feedback outcomes, and it will improve continuously by just applying reinforcement learning and fine tuning and update the models with the new data. Okay, and here are the examples for agentic AI. Autonomous research assistant reads papers, generates hypotheses, design experiments, right? And execute tasks and reports findings. And future opportunities for agentic AI is industry adoption, ethical considerations, career paths in AI. So this is all about agentic AIs, and I hope you understood the wave of agentic AI in the today's world. After the first wave or second wave, like predictive analysis, that is predictive AI, and then generative AI, and then now agentic AI. So as I mentioned, traditional AI gives you answer when you ask, but agentic AI, on the other hand, it is just thinking of around the world, and it looks for what is happening or what is required and take an action on its own and provide the response. And after that, it will keep learning from the given response and experience, just like human. Okay. Thanks everyone. Please subscribe the channel for more videos. Thank you.